What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're looking at some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. If you enjoy the content, of course. If you don't, you can dislike it. It's totally up to you. We're all good here. And a huge thank you to the members of our channel. As always, you're truly appreciated. And yesterday we had another new member. She's been threatening to join me for a while. Thank you very much, Catch Your Breath Beauty. You are an absolute legend, and I hope your doggo is doing well. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Chance Creator. Am I the arsehole for telling my stepdaughter to stop using period products in the bathroom she shares with my teenage sons? I've been living with my new wife and stepdaughter for about 6 months now. She's 19, almost 20, and I have 3 sons aged 18, 16 and 15. She's a really good kid and she's a good influence on my sons. I really enjoy having her around. My wife and her daughter moved into my house and sold theirs. My stepdaughter's father isn't present in her life, nor is my son's mother. All 4 children share a bathroom. My sons have never lived for a long period of time with a woman, nor have any of them had a long-term girlfriends. They had short visitation periods when they were younger, but never longer than an hour. So living with 2 women has been unusual for them. My oldest son, 18, came to me last week and told me that his stepsister disposed of her used sanitary products in the trash can they share, but doesn't use toilet roll or sandwich bags to disguise what they are, and it makes him uncomfortable, which I think is reasonable. My sons are teenage boys and don't want to see their stepsister's period product on full display. A few nights ago, I went into the kitchen to grab a snack, and she was there doing some work for university. My wife had mentioned that she knew she was on her period, so I took it as an opportunity to have a word with her. I told her my sons were uncomfortable, and I asked her if she'd mind putting her products in diaper bags or flushing them down the toilet. She laughed and told me it was rich coming from a man who sheds like a gorilla and has produced 3 skid-marking sons, which I thought was just an unnecessary attack. I've been nothing more but nice to the girl, and it's hardly a comparison. My sons shouldn't be subjected to her unhygienic products if it makes them uncomfortable. She went on to lecture me about how tampons can't be flushed and that's bad for the environment if she uses diaper bags for everyone, which I think is just an excuse. I called her a scruff and told her this was my house and that what I say goes. I later asked my wife if she could have a word with her, and she told me I was being ridiculous and that her daughter has had her period for 10 years and knows what she's doing. When I told her it was making my sons uncomfortable, she said my sons needed to get a grip and turned over and went to sleep. This is a genuine issue to me, and she didn't care enough to have a discussion about it. I asked my stepdaughter again in the morning, and she did the same as her mother, completely dismissed it. Both of them have told me to stop being so silly, but I don't see how I'm being unreasonable when it makes my sons uncomfortable. Am I the arsehole? Update. Not even 2 hours after I posted this, my wife and stepdaughter gathered my sons and I and gave us a full intensive period for pricks course. PowerPoint and all. It was a hoot. They made an interactive quiz and everything. My sons and I learned a lot and apologised to my stepdaughter. Thank you for your input. Now, we kind of already know the answer to this one because of the update at the end, but some people might have a different opinion on how it should have went about, or if they were the arseholes to begin with anyway, so we'll go down that road and we'll find out from you guys. I personally think that the OP is the arsehole in the situation. I mean, whenever we've had stories about women's periods and things like that, it's always the same. It's a natural process. You can't help it. Get over it and learn to be a better person and just realize that it happens. I mean, they're in the trash can. It's not like she's shoving them in your face or anything, is it? I mean, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the link in the description. Our next story is from Lucky Crow. Am I the arsehole for telling my male friend that he's shit at sex? One of my 24 female male friends, I'll call Jack 24 male, is a bit of a lad and very good looking. Jack basically thinks that lad points are important. He's going on about how many girls he's been with and how high his body count is. I lived with him in a house share for a while, and whenever he brought a girl home, he'd make sure to parade her around by introducing her, spend 15 to 20 minutes in his room having sex, then come out and strut around naked or in his boxers. Yes, he really would. I remember saying a few times, why are you out here? You have a beautiful girl in your room and you're not in there with her. This behaviour was pretty common for him, and even though he was an almighty douche, we were still friends. Anyway, after about 8 months of living together, after a drunken night, me and Jack ended up in bed together. Honestly, it was terrible, and having slept with him, I realised something. Jack had a big one, which I knew because of his strutting. But he thought that having a big one automatically meant he was good at sex. Like it just immediately made him amazing in bed. Our sex was shit, like hands down the worst sex I've ever had. No foreplay, he left the lights and TV on, then unceremoniously shoved himself inside me. The whole thing was basically a race for him to get inside me as quickly as possible. Maybe 10 minutes of uncomfortable jackhammering, then it was done. The next morning I was really sore because 1, I wasn't excited at all, 2, he was big. But because I was sore, he took that as him doing a bang up job. Anyway, that experience was a few years ago, and even after all this time, Jack is still the same lad he was, and still fucks girls like they were lined up on a conveyor belt for him. Recently, my husband and I hosted a barbecue in our garden, as gatherings are now allowed. Jack came over, as he's in our mutuals group. Of course, after a while Jack starts going on about the girls he's fucked, and showing up another girl at the party by telling people he's fucked her. It then turns to me, and asks if I can prove to the lads how fire he is at sex. Slightly embarrassed but also angry, he even mentioned me. I straight up told him he was shit, basically the worst sex I ever had. I then went on to say what happened, and that he only has sex just to say that he's had sex. It wasn't fun, pleasurable, or enjoyable, and for the record, I didn't come. Amazingly enough, 2 other girls also backed up what I was saying their nights with him were pretty much the same to how I described it. Jack got defensive and angry, but we wouldn't drop it. He eventually left absolutely fuming. My husband, who knows I slept with him years before, said I was insensitive, especially as it seems Jack relies heavily on the lad/sex god persona he's created. I don't think so. It was about time Jack was called out for being shit in bed, and maybe use this to learn to actually have sex. All the boys in the group think I'm an arse for calling Jack out. Me and the girls disagree. Edit, holy cow, this got way more attention than I thought it would. Thanks for all the comments. Should clear a few things up. A lot of people ask why I was or am friends with Jack. I was back then because honestly, at times he was a decent guy, just blanketed by a douchey exterior. After I moved out of the house, we fell out of close contact, but are still hovering in mutual friend circles. I'm not directly friends with him now, but he's still a friend of a friend, and we're normally civil. Edit 2, I really don't get why people are misunderstanding the story. For the record, I did not cheat on my husband. Jack and I had a one night stand together years ago while we were in uni. I wouldn't consider him my friend now, but we still have mutuals from our social circles, and we do occasionally see one another. A couple of comments from Rodeo Bob, not the arsehole, then he quotes, then he turns to me and asks if I can prove to the lads how fire he is at sex. Motherfucker asked for it. Point blank, he asked you to talk, well, actually, he fucking put you on the spot to talk about it. To which just another gamer wife replies, exactly, he put you on the spot in a public setting, and he doesn't like the answer he got in a public setting. He gambled on your response and lost. And the thing that jumped out to me is, he put you on that public setting in front of everyone and in front of your husband. And I can't believe your husband backed him up at the end there. I'd be like, wow, pissed off if someone done that. He's basically saying, in front of him, to his face, I slept with your wife. Now tell him how good it was. Gee whiz, man. That's disgusting. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments below. If you think OP is the arsehole or not. I think I know where it's going to go, but we shall find out. And don't forget to vote on the link in the description. Our next story is from, I don't know, dude 56. Am I the arsehole for telling my daughter her friend sent me nudes? I'm a 37-year-old man. My daughter and her friend, I call her Brooke, are both 19. They met in college, they've been friends for almost a year. Brooke's come over to our house too many times to count, she's always made me uncomfortable. Though she'd never explicitly flirted with me up until a couple of days ago, I could always tell she liked me, but because there was no proof and she never made a move, I just tried to ignore it and keep my distance. She seemed like a good kid. Never in a million years did I think she'd take it any further than laughing a little harder than necessary at my jokes. The other night I got 3 messages from a number not in my contacts. There was 1 sexually explicit text and 2 faceless nudes. As I was looking at them and trying to figure out who they were from, I thought maybe an old hookup or something. I got a video that included Brooke's face. My heart dropped and I felt sick as soon as I realised what was happening. I was freaked out and impulsively ran into my daughter's room and told her. She was freaked out too, and she asked to see the pictures because she couldn't believe it. I knew I shouldn't have shown her, but I did. It was another impulsive decision. I asked her how Brooke got my number, and she said she had no idea. We still don't know. We think maybe she got off my daughter's unattended phone. My daughter told me she would deal with the situation. I texted Brooke, please never contact me again, blocked her number and left it at that. The next day, my daughter told me she confronted Brooke and it had caused a huge fight between them. She said that instead of apologising or explaining herself, Brooke got extremely mad at me for telling my daughter what had happened. My daughter decided it was best to block Brooke and move on like I had. A few hours later, Brooke sent me an Instagram DM. We've never followed each other. That said, please don't block me, I just want to talk to you. I blocked her anyway. About 4 hours after that, I got a long email from her on my work address. It's on my website, so I guess that's where she's got it. The email is basically a 5-paragraph guilt trip. It goes on into detail about how embarrassed she is that I showed my daughter what was just meant for me. She talks extensively about how you shouldn't give out private information and how, if I wasn't interested, I should have just told her and kept it a secret instead of going to my daughter. Never once did she apologise or acknowledge how wrong it was for her to send me those messages. She just tried to make me feel bad. And honestly, it's sort of working. I don't know, I'm conflicted. I'm still disgusted and angry with her for doing that, but I feel bad. Maybe she's just a confused, insecure kid with problems, and I should have kindly let her know how inappropriate that was, and told her not to do it again, instead of embarrassing her like I did. Am I the arsehole? I kind of feel like one, but maybe I'm just too empathetic. And I read out this comment, not the arsehole, she sent unsolicited nudes. It's perfectly normal for that you freaked out, and kudos for telling your daughter. She should have known that you're not interested when you didn't engage in her flirting. Also, that girl maybe took American Beauty way too hard. You are a great guy and father. And one more comment from Larry Lee 7. Gender flip that. A young guy sending nudes and the uproar would be deafening. He handled it perfectly in my opinion. Not the arsehole. I was sort of conflicted like OP until that last comment where it said if you gender flip it, it would create an uproar. And I think it certainly would. I'm not sure what you guys think on the situation. Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to click on the link in the description to vote. And the next story is from Snoo. Am I the arsehole for taking $15,000 out of my daughter's college fund to buy myself a new car? I have an 8-year-old daughter, and to make college more easily accessible for her, my wife and I have each put money into a shared fund for her. My ex-wife and I do not get along, but we make an effort for the sake of our daughter. At the end of last year, my car basically blew up, completely blew a gasket, broke down every time I drove it and ended up being written off. My current wife and I decided to save for a new car, and to wait for one I was sure I wanted, as I love my old car. On the way home from work I drive past a really high-end car dealership, basically sells vintage top-class cars. They're absolutely beautiful, but I've never went in because they're extremely expensive. A few days ago I drove past it and thought, why not? I'll have a look and just not buy anything. I walked in and saw a truly beautiful Mustang, rung my wife and told her I found the car I wanted. We hadn't saved enough, so I used the money from our savings, and without thinking, dipped into the college fund my ex-wife and I have for our daughter. It was just under $15,000. I rang my ex-wife after I bought it to tell her and assured her I'd put the money back in, but she went ballistic, telling me that she basically just paid for my car, and she puts more money in monthly than I do. I said that was ridiculous, and that it doesn't matter because it's my money too. She's now going on about suing me and all sorts, which is just ridiculous. Am I the arsehole? First comment from Alternative Answer. You're the arsehole. You stole from both your wife and your daughter to irresponsibly buy a car you can't afford. I hope this is a troll. No one can be this dense. Weary Bonus replies, I'm seriously glad I live in a country where this would not be possible. He would be able to pay into an account for his child, but he would not be able to open, close or withdraw without the other parent present. If you want to do anything alone, you have to bring court orders showing you have sole custody. He's a shit parent and I have doubts he'll pay that money back. Hope the mum does sue him. Dude, that's your daughter's college fund money, man, and you're spending it. Whether you're going to pay it back or not, you can't guarantee that at this moment in time. You don't know what's going to happen. That car could blow up, then you're going to need to save for another car. You can't guarantee that. Live within your means. You've basically just used your daughter's and your ex-wife's money. It's... Oh my word. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in the link in the description. Our next story is from Boyfriend Daughter Trouble. Am I the arsehole for asking my boyfriend to stop wearing suits outside of work? I know this sounds weird, but here goes. I've been dating my 47 female boyfriend, 52 male, for 2 years. We met in grief counselling group after losing our spouses. Everything in this relationship has been great. Our kids get along great. I even got a Mother's Day card from his sons thanking me for making his dad smile again. It was sweet. My daughter, 19 female, adores my boyfriend. I was surprised how fast they hit it off because she's very shy, but I didn't want to question it, so I let it go. But as time went on, things got weird. On Valentine's Day, he got me a bouquet and a rose for her, and she still has it hanging in her room. She gets up very early in the morning to make him a latte, and every night when he gets home, she's waiting in the kitchen with a beer and a sandwich for him. He has back problems, so she bought him a computer chair with massaging rollers on it, which pissed me off because I am a masseuse. I can take care of this man's back just fine. I refuse to be replaced by a effing chair. I asked my daughter why she keeps doing this stuff, and she said she just likes him. I asked why to see if I could get more info, and she started listing things like, he's nice, smart, funny, blah blah blah, but what stuck out is when she said she loves the way he dresses. My boyfriend is a funeral director, so he always wears black suits. When I first started dating him, my daughter would always call him a sharp dressed man, saying things like, are you going to go and see that sharp dressed man again? Or, when do I get to meet your new sharp dressed man, mum? My daughter always said she wants to marry a man in a suit, so I assumed this was her way of showing approval. But now I'm starting to wonder if there's more. I've been wanting to suggest that he stop wearing suits outside of work, but he loves his suits. We just bought a house together and I know he's been looking at rings. This man is a chess champion who speaks 6 languages, yet doesn't know how to close his laptop when going to the bathroom. Lol. So I'm invested in this relationship. I love this man and I want to marry him, but I'm afraid if I tell him what's on my mind, he'll kick my daughter out. This all came to a head last night when we were watching a movie and she went up to get drinks. When she came back, she handed my boyfriend his beer and then tried to sit in his lap. I say tried because my boyfriend pushed her off and angrily told her that what she did was inappropriate. He stormed up to our bedroom and I followed up to talk to him. He started saying that my daughter should start looking elsewhere to stay, but I told him about the suit thing and that maybe if he just wore normal clothes outside of work, she wouldn't act so weird. He told me I was being ridiculous and we went to bed. I made him breakfast in the morning, but he left to go eat instead. He says he's in the McDonald's parking lot now, but we're going to have a serious talk when he gets home. I don't know what to think. Am I the arsehole? Update on our conversation. Well, it turns out some of you are right. There was a lot of crap I didn't know about. An entire shit show's worth, in fact. My boyfriend showed me several disturbing text messages. No actual proposition or anything, just weird stuff like, I miss you, and are you awake at 2 AM, etc. And apparently my daughter had confided in him about a close friendship she had with her basketball coach right after her dad died. My boyfriend said he kept it a secret because she begged him not to tell me, and he didn't want to break her trust. I, of course, was incredibly hurt to hear this, but at the same time understand why he didn't tell me. Apparently, he is the only person she's ever talked to about this. It turns out my daughter has been basically treating my boyfriend like a private therapist for the past several months, and he didn't tell me because he wanted to help her. He chalked up all the favours to her just showing gratitude for lending an ear, and didn't realise how she might have felt incredibly different before last night. He apologised for insisting on kicking her out, and I apologised for the stupid comments about his suits. It was a comment I made out of being in denial, and now I realise she needs therapy. When I first started grief counselling, I did ask my kids if they wanted counselling. They both said no, and I didn't want to force it on them. When I sat my daughter down to talk about the boundary issue, she burst into tears and started apologising. I had an extremely uncomfortable but necessary conversation with her, and I told her that I'm going to start looking for a therapist. I didn't tell her I know about the basketball coach because I didn't want her to feel betrayed, and I'm hoping a professional will be able to get it out of her in a more sensitive and controlled manner. But so help me God, if that motherfucker ever shows his face in my hometown again, and she asks me why I'm in jail, I guess I'll have to tell her. I know about it then. But for now, her healing from the past is my main priority, because it really does seem like her dad screwed her up far worse than I thought. My boyfriend and I have made up, and no one is getting kicked out, but things are still pretty awkward. She's basically quarantined herself in the basement. For now, we all just need some space, and my boyfriend has already helped me find some good therapists in our area. Now we're going to read a couple of the comments, and I think you have to take into consideration a lot of these comments might have been before the update as well, so just take that into consideration as well. Bubblegum 2070 says, you're the arsehole. You sound like one of those people that say it's the way the person was dressed as why they were assaulted. It's your daughter's fault, not his clothes. Jenny replies, yes, imagine if the roles were reversed, if the boyfriend's son was coming up onto OP, and instead of talking to the son about it, BF suggested OP change the way she dresses. You're the arsehole, OP. You need to have a long talk with your daughter about what's appropriate behaviour, but also you may want to look into counselling for her. Perhaps some of this stems from the loss of her dad. CM Crucible says, completely agree. Also, it seems OP's boyfriend's angry response implies that he knows exactly what's going on and feels uncomfortable. Grief can do crazy stuff to people, man. Like we got from this, therapy can be the only way forward on this, right? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the link in the description. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you for being here. The time out of your day is absolutely amazing. You guys show incredible support to me, and I can't thank you enough. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to click that like, that subscribe, and there's another video on your screen right now if you'd like to watch another. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Much love, guys.